Welcome to the training in preventing radicalization and violent extremism. This module is prepared by Savitribai Phule Pune University and Department of Defense and Strategic Studies. In this particular module, which is spread over the 6 units, we will see different elements as what is the basic concept of radicalization and how it operates in the region, specifically in the context of Asia and India. We will identify the key legal actors or authorities, the key social element or communities which can play a direct role in the process of de-radicalization. We will see the context of India and Asia. We will also see the process of radicalization. We will learn about the different definitions of radicalization, and we will try to arrive at a specific or definition with large consensus. We will also see the human rights approach for addressing the issue of radicalization. We will also see the process of radicalization and criminal activities, and also see the specific cases of radicalization. In this particular module, we will deal with the factors which can lead to radicalization of individuals and groups. First element is victimization. The role of victimization as motivator or as a justifying factor has played a very key role in the process of radicalization, where the victimization, which can be perceived or real, can play a significant role, where the notion of grievances of injustice being done to them is a initial process, or this is something which triggers the process of radicalization among the individuals and groups, where we can see that different grievances like wage inequality, social discrimination, the religious polarization, the sense of injustice being done with the individual and community, the I mean sometimes poverty or unemployment in youth can play a significant role in creating this perception of they are being victimized at the individual or collective level. Sometimes we can see that a particular geography or particular district can be identified as area where such kind of perceived discrimination is identified or observed on large scale, which the radical elements which try to exploit. And in order to prevent this particular thing, it is very essential to identify such social groups or geographical elements where we need to address the issue of this perceived victimization. Here, Randy Borman has concluded when looking towards radicalization into violent extremism, that we can see that the existing literature suggests that there are three elements: the perceived injustice, the sense of identity, and belongingness have played a very significant role in uh, in creating this perception of victimization. So sense of injustice is again can be seen in the perceived victimization. The issue of identity, that as a collective or individual identities which are shaped by a particular surrounding or historical background or different socio-economic background, all this plays a very significant role in shaping identity of individual as well as community. If at the larger social level or at political level we can see that if these identities are not recognized and not respected, then it can create a possible sense of alienation within individual and community, and this can lead to the creating a possible fertile ground for radicalization within individuals, as well as the sense of belongingness. Here we can see that to a certain extent this feeling of sense of belongingness is essential to make sense of oneself. Here we can see that within if the local atmosphere or the larger surroundings are not giving this sense of being or sense of belonging to the individual, they starts looking for the sense of belonging toward the global or the virtual spaces, where the possible recruiter or the people who want to indoctrinate such kind of individual will try to give sense of belongingness, or can help the individuals to make sense of their being, and it can play a as a pull factor into radicalization. So, since this module is developed to disseminate the knowledge about radicalization, especially for the educational institutions, we can see that youth is a major uh, target audience here in order to understand that how we can prevent their being radicalized. So it becomes very essential as a first step to understand that what are the possible indicators of radicalization. Here we can see that with regard to individual radicalization to jihadist terrorism, the German federal state has developed a possible list of indicators, which we can see that can also be applicable in case of Asian and Indian context. So there are certain visible behavior with which we can identify that the individual will show certain kind of change in behavior. So it is observed that these individuals, one of a suddenly break their ties with their families and start turning towards new friends. The second possible parameter or second possible indicator is increased religiosity, where we can see that one of a suddenly these individuals who might not be believing in or who might not be believer, but with this sense of injustice or deprivation, they start developing tendencies of religious beliefs where they think that all possible things can be explained through the reference of religion, and this can be seen as a change pattern in their behavior. Then their approach towards non-believer also changes, where we can see that the other population other than Muslim population, they see that these are their behavior are constantly criticized or uh, they are denounced as non-believers. Then we can, in some of the instances, we can see that these individuals develop a tendency towards participating the combat sports or survival training, which is considered as a possible step further, where they want to involve in such kind of extreme violent activities where they try to take or try to train their mind in particular way. Again, we can see that sometimes in some instances it was found that they also participate in criminal activities, where they can participate in fraud or other criminal activities against non-believer. And in a way, it can, this particular pattern has been identified in European countries as well as Asian countries, where the recruiters try to develop the kind of tendencies within individual where they are deliberately uh, encouraged to break the law in order to ensure that these individuals, even if they change their mind tomorrow, they will feel they it will become very difficult for them to reintegrate with the society further. So in a way, there is deliberate tendency to trap these kind of individuals in after I mean through carrying out such kind of illegal activities. Then it is observed that these individuals have undertaken or undergone a religious training. So they participate in religious seminar either in domestic sphere or sometimes in some instances it was found that they travel in different countries to take religious training. It is also observed that they can have foreign visits and they try to develop the foreign their network across the globe. They regularly visit jihadist website and view jihadist videos. Sometimes they take training of foreign languages. They have regular trips abroad. And very often it is observed that they generally make sure that even if they are identified by the law agencies or law enforcement agencies in foreign countries, in order to make sure that they should not be deported back to their home countries, they generally develop a tendency that they will destroy or lose their passport so that they cannot be sent back to their home countries. Then when in certain instances when it was identified that some particular individual will be participating in the extremist or suicidal bomb activities, their behavior one of a suddenly changes. They adopt modern practices in order to mingle with the society. They generally develop a tendency where we can see that their behavior changes and they sometimes participate in the activities which are against a particular religion, or which are generally considered as modern and secular practices. So, if we try to identify the major differences in the radicalization which is observed in Europe and South Asia, these are some of the major differences. In case of Europe, there are many incidences where lone wolf, which were basically the migrants from different West Asian countries, and due to cultural differences, the instances of radicalization, these become two major drivers in case of European subcontinent. Whereas in case of Asia and South Asia, we can see that since the society is multi-ethnic, multicultural, and plural society, which has several conflicts. So the individuals within this particular society have the tendency of constant cultural or religious conflict. So the individuals have developed some kind of tolerance towards the different religions. Whereas in case of India, we can see that the instances of radicalization have happened in case of Islamic radicalization, cross-border terrorism, or ethnic nationalism, left-wing extremism, or sometimes in some instances majoritarianism, which can be coming from either language or region or particular religion. So, the major school of Islamic ideology within India are Salafi Wahhabi, Jamaat-e-Islami, Deobandi, Tabligh, Hussein Haqqani network, which is basically propagating for jihad in Afghanistan. So the reason for radicalization we can see in South Asian context is the socio-economic inequality, the identity crisis. The identity crisis, especially among Muslims, where they are constantly being labeled as anti-national, they are deprived in the development discourse. These, in some of the examples, it has been observed that these are the major drivers for any particular individual belonging to Islam or Muslim as a religion undergoing identity crisis. So, if we try to identify what are the major push factors in case of South Asia, we can see that the communal tension has played a major role. The real or perceived discrimination, especially among the individuals who are belonging to the region which are less developed, or if they are coming from the particular socioeconomic background, it is observed that this has played a very significant role. The economic disparity, socio-political marginalization, and in the recent time period, we have seen that religious polarization with the rise of new nationalism has played as a push factor. So, push factors are basically the uh, major drivers which constantly create a possible fertile ground for any individual for alienating from the existing society, and this has played a major role in isolating them from the existing social or political institutions. And then the people who potential recruiter, their potential recruiter for radicalization, use all these instances in order to indoctrinate such individuals. So the pull factor in case of South Asia, we can see that rise of Islamic ideology at the global level, especially the emergence of Islamic State, has played a very key role. And the second factor is introduction of internet and communication technology, which has played as a pull factor. So basically, these become major facilitator in case of possible recruitment for radicalization. So if we take a specific case study, in case of India, the Islamic State in India or its presence. Here we can take a case study from Yavatmal district of Maharashtra, where around three individuals were caught by law enforcement agency, but which basically belonging to the group of six people. So basically, this was the incidents which took place around 2017, September, 2017, in the month of September, where the individual Abdul Malik, which was an unemployed youth from Pusat village in Yavatmal district of Maharashtra, repeatedly stabbed a constable after offering namaz at the local mosque. The constable was on duty, posted outside the mosque. He survived the attack. Malik allegedly also attacked two more constables who tried to intervene. He was immediately arrested by the local police, and 2 days after his arrest, the law enforcement agencies started suspecting the larger angle of radicalization in this particular context. In the latter month, in October, Shoaib Ahmed Khan, alias Pushat Soeb, alias Tariq Bhai, which was 24-year-old individual, was arrested from the district from Hingoli, uh, which is another district in Maharashtra. Around the month of November, the Maharashtra ATS of Nanded and Akola, in their joint operation, have arrested another young religious preacher, uh, who identified as Hafiz Muhammad Rahman as a Salim Malik, for allegedly involving indoctrination of youth to join jihad or holy war through social media, and sermons from Mehdiya Masjid in Pusad, Yavatmal district. Sources for intelligence wing said that Maulana Rahman's names had cropped up in the interrogation of Abdul Malik alias Abdul Razak. These three arrested persons were reported part of six youth module based in Yavatmal district, which has been brainwashed to join Islamic State. The group planned to first send Khan to the Islamic State. He would go and evaluate the situation, and if things were fine, he would request his commanders to arrange for smuggling out remaining youths. Uh, this information was provided by one of the investigation officer. Khan also has told the police that in case of failure to join Islamic State, the group had kept an option of joining Taliban in Afghanistan. So basically, I mean, in when the government of India has identified such kind of trend, the government of India has started developing the de-radicalization, where we can see that. From the during the period of 2014, 15 and 16, there were several instances where youth was arrested while traveling to the West Asian states. Especially these youth were largely coming from the state of Kerala, Hyderabad and Maharashtra. So in 2014, the Ministry of Home Affairs started a separate unit to deal with radicalization under counterterrorism. The Maharashtra model, which is multi-pronged approach, first to have a community level engagement where ATS, anti-terrorism squad, which is special agency which keeps surveillance, and have developed a de-radicalization program. The basic way in which this particular de-radicalization model operates is that it takes multi-pronged strategy. First, it has large scale surveillance of social media, where they try to identify the possible vulnerable individuals, which are identified as candidate rather than labeling them as anti-national element. They just try to see them as a victim or vulnerable youth to this particular process. These individuals undergo counseling, and after that, a specific, relatively longer de-radicalization program. They generally try to avoid developing their criminal record, which is a possible way in which they can help to reintegrate these individuals with the society. It has counseled around 2,000 individuals, and 114 men and 6 women were reintegrated within society. Similarly, the state of Kerala has undergone a Operation Pigeon, where similarly they try to identify this particular individual as misguided youth, and they try to reintegrate them with the help of friends and family, to reintegrate with society. So the Maharashtra and Kerala are relatively peaceful and politically stable states than Jammu and Kashmir, which is a major area where the recruitment for radicalization has happened. So the state of Jammu and Kashmir also has developed de-radicalization programs like Operation Sadbhavna, Operation Ma, where they try to engage the youth in constructive activities, where they take help of family and educational institution in order to develop a secular mindset among the youth and to develop a constructive tendencies among the youth. Thank you.